What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Blackout Gaming TV. This is Jake, and unfortunately, we will not have CJ today, as the news have stated. But fret no more, because we brought in Sigafoo from United States of America to bring you the best European action. How are you doing, Sigafoo?
I'm doing great. USA, USA. How you doing, Jake?
Yeah, I'm pretty good as myself here. Yeah, we have two teams fighting for points. It's half season already, so any points that they get are very important. It's gonna really decide which team is gonna end up at the top of the league, and which one's gonna end up in the low section of it. But the thing is here, because we have a Highpander and UKIP, formerly known as Loads of Money, and UKIP so far have not been doing that well. They've been pretty much losing every single game they played, even against lower tier teams. So they need that points. They need them points like just stolen from people. They need to steal points, as many as they can, in order to actually stay in the league and stay in Premiership for the next season. And on the other hand, you have Highpander players, which are widely known, very important, and they've been playing together for far longer than they actually care to admit. So we'll see how it goes today.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, looking at the table right now, UKIP currently has not taken a game yet, as you said. Highpander sitting at mid-table in 4th out of 8 here. So it looks like, Highpander, they really need to try to pick up some of those games, because they're currently only, a few points behind first place, technically. But, of course, it's like you have to have one of the big teams drop points in order to gain them, but that means you can't drop any yourself. So, definitely a little bit of a game for Highpander, because, I don't know. Do you think Highpander's been playing up to like how good they are, or how do you feel like they've been doing this season?
I'm not sure how actually it happened, because like last seasons and 2 seasons ago, they won, obviously. Last season they managed to get a second place, and this season they are doing considerably worse than the previous seasons. So I don't know. Like, it's hard to say. They've been playing together for such a long time. Maybe it's them being burnt out, or they're not enjoying the game anymore that well. Although you still have those heavy problems they had. I mean, they dropped Piddox last season, and they've been having some troubles on the heavy position. They used Polk for the most of the season, and Polk has not been that reliable so far. And obviously, you have the paying issue, because he's playing from the United States. So I think it all boils down to this. They've always had this heavy problem throughout the season, and that probably hurt them more than they care to admit here. So.
Yeah, it definitely can work against him. Actually, Polk has one thing going against him even more so, is actually he's from Hawaii. But here we go. We got the readies up happening. We're going to have a mid-fight happening here shortly, as it looks like UKIP's Dylan actually beat Hildreth pretty significantly out to mid.
Yeah, Yak's been playing sixes quite a lot, and he just knows his map inside out. So we probably will see him considerably faster than the Hildreth here, but team fights going in the middle at first. Devs, the Union, and Joti, Gandhi. People dying for UKIP quite fast here. The Hildreth just advancing here, making sure that the point can be kept by Highpander players, and looks like, yeah, they're just leaving some players on the point, moving on to second. They need to gain ground in order to maintain the pressure that they have here.
Yeah, UKIP really had a struggle that mid. It wasn't their demo that got out there so quickly, creating some space. Their team never got out of that show position. They took a lot of spam together, and they basically went down quickly because they all had such... UKIP next mid-fight really needed to get going. Tying on the medic, but Grunjabob goes down here, as we're seeing Highpander get pretty aggressive. Look at how much free space they're taking right now. Not even being forced off. Pyro finally does get the force off onto a Highpander medic, and does go down for his trouble, but they're going to be able to get this point anyways. Actually, just as I say that, Uber has popped off out of UKIP. They're pushing them back. Medic's trying to get out alive, and he does do so. It looks like Spur is alive here, and are they going to be able to hold on to this? It doesn't look like it, as they have so much down.
They have so much down here. Yeah, it was a good counter pop. It was like, the Shep was on his toes, but it wasn't fast enough to actually gain the ground that they needed, and lost a lot in that exchange. Around 50 HP, but he has this major advantage, 50% over Shep here. It's going to be really crucial in that last push. So you might be seeing the first point being taken fairly quickly in this match today.
Yeah, which is a little bit uncharacteristic for Sunshine. It tends to be a little bit of a slower map. It's a little bit bigger. But yeah, as you said, here they come in, or I'm sorry, here we are at the last point. Engineer getting his level 3 sentries set up here. In America last season, we actually saw a lot of mini sentries on this last point with the Wrangler. So I don't think definitely level 3s are wrong, but as I say, here comes the Uber in from the far-hand side. They're trying to take over this right side. Scout in on the point, chasing down the medic. Does end up taking him down. Only 4 alive for the defense here, as they're all being spread apart. Pretty much everybody's alive for Highpander. This is just the demolishing. Only the Pyro alive, and he's going to go down for his trouble. But it's to who? The Engineer, and finally, that is a wipe in the first round goes to Highpander.
Oh, that was... I think, like, the why it happened so quickly is because Billy picked a wrong moment to wrangle himself out to this high position above the point and warped his sentry. And that way, they did not have an engineer on defense, did not even have a sentry on defense. And that's why it kind of crumbled there. But there you go, another mid-fight here coming on. The Yak and Ildriv exchanging some sticks, but none of them actually get to the target. Looks like Highpander again, just kind of trying to get a little bit more aggressive. And the same situation like repeats. UKIP losing a couple of players here, not enough to actually push on the point, but they keep trying to like gain ground here. As the Pyro has actually, it was who was it? It was the Pyro with the backburner trying to burn people from behind, but it was mowed down by condawg, you know, on his Taz. And he's like actually quite curious here. There are a lot of people down for each side, but no one actually even got on the point here.
And Grenjabob's actually been behind them the whole game, and actually, just as I say that, Grenjabob gets a stab on Shep there, evening it out. So Sprayer went down during the mid-fight. This mid-fight is actually still underway. No one has died here, and that's going to give a nice little Uber advantage back to Sprayer, and finally, Highpander pulls down with that. But that was a much better mid-fight out of UKIP. You can see how much they spread out initially. They did trade demos right away, but they, you know, it's because the team was spread out that they didn't all just take damage at the same time, and they almost came down with this, as Sprayer's going to have a 50% going into the second point here.
Yeah, and I think like Sprayer dying and then people just basically trying to get the other medic was the best outcome for Highpander out of this situation, as Sprayer has a considerable amount of advantage here over Shep. And here comes again, like the same thing that happened before, just Highpander pushes in. They don't really care about the point. They leave like one person on the point capping, while the rest of the team pushes up, so the enemy team UKIP cannot get on the point freely and just kind of contest it, stop it from being capped. And again, Sprayer on 100 health with Uber goes in here, and we're gonna see a pop any second. Actually, they don't need to pop yet. It looks like, yeah, UKIP just giving up the point even without a fight, without even trying to make Sprayer pop his Uber here.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a questionable choice. I mean, obviously, they don't want to get caught in with the Uber pop down at them and lose everything, but you also do want to force that medic to use their Uber. They kind of lost that second point because they lost, UKIP lost their sniper almost right away, allowing Formello to kind of take a lot of ground and peek some space, because when you don't have to worry about the sniper, that gives you so much more. But here we go, Shep does get that Uber, or I'm sorry, they're going to be even Uber advantage here, so it's going to be probably a trade coming in here. It'll be interesting to see how Highpander now have to push this, as they are playing a little bit more passive yet. How are they going to handle this? How are they going to handle this situation when their even Uber is not at an advantage as they were last time?
I think what you can do in this situation is be a little bit more aggressive, get a couple of picks, maybe make the medic pop, even if your medic pops as well. Because if you're spread too thin on the last point, you're going to lose the point regardless, because the other team will just come and reinforce and in full force. So that's how it looked like. But yeah, looks like what you said is happening. There's only a mini sentry on defense as far as I know. There's no level 3 to be seen. And I think like UKIP is kind of gambling on this situation here. They'll probably just try to play aggressively and maybe get a second point out of this exchange that's going to happen fairly soon. And both teams are kind of passive right now, trying to get some picks going. Only a scout, both scouts actually dead for both teams, so no capping powers. They don't really need that right now, as Scout is quite fragile. Oh, Show T just goes down to Zoop, kind of lucky there. Sneaking in the corner and then, you know, rocket jump away. He dies.
Hildreth comes in here at the last point. He's trying to get his caber off, not able to land the caber onto the medic. Some suicide waves coming in here. And this is it right here. It's like right now, this is when you need to get aggressive as a defense. The demo is down on the other team. And finally, dude, Polk goes down as well. No spy, no demo. Engineer actually sneaking on the medic, gets, or helps get the force off. Actually, the Ubers are exchanged here. Engineer running away. Soldier runs away as well. Spirit did pop off the Uber, which was a little bit better, but they ended up having less people, so they're going to run away here. And that's going to be a nice retake by UKIP. It's so difficult to push out of your own last. He'll just try and do something to take a little bit of ground here, but he might get caught up for his troubles. I don't know. I mean, this is just a little bit of an aggressive play out of them, but as Spy goes down, no Joe T for that, but I don't know. I just don't feel like this is the best spot for them to be in. But I guess they're taking the
Oh, a
ground
couple
for free.
punch shots on the medic, yeah, and Sprayer goes down to Ine. Very nice play by the Red Scout, the UKIP, getting that advantage about 70%, I think, in the making. And that will need that because they were actually hurting some players here in that last exchange. They lost the second point as a result, but the considerable amount of advantage they have will probably allow them to hold it for a little bit longer, maybe push out the second and regain that advantage that they had before. But yeah, like, looks like Highpander are just not keen on just giving up here. They're really aggressive. They keep trying to poke some damage out. They're not really, faced by the fact that they lost their medic in that last exchange.
And here we go again, UKIP finally pushing out to the second point. This is what you need to do. What UKIP really needs to do is they need to be able to take this point, and they need to take it without Ubering. But just as I say that, they do get forced off by the soldier bombing in over the top. Grungebab is behind the combo right now. He might be able to make a play. Here he comes in on the medic, gets the stab, gets the heavy as well. Great play by Grungebab, and this might be just exactly what Highpander need to re-push in here. Highpander is already pushing out to the second point, and UKIP, they took so much ground, but they didn't take the point, and they're going to give it back up right away and get an uber disadvantage. So pretty much Highpander's going to have their pick and choice when it comes to pushing to this last point.
Yeah, and they have a massive advantage over as well, so what they can do is just basically walk in with the heavy, the demo, and just pop on the point. They will not be phased by the enemy defense whatsoever. Although Fromlo dies to Jules, which was a nice pick, but, it's not going to help them much as they just pop Uber and sure, really, generously. They do not need to worry about that much. A lot of people dying from UKIP, but there is a demo and the medic still alive. Grungebab and Zebasai are on him. And there you go, whole defense crumbles for UKIP and kind of caps the second point of the game.
Yeah, and I think that round really showed UKIP is definitely not a pushover this map. To be able to push out of your last point shows a lot of strength on them, but the big thing is they need to be able to push out and then maintain ground. Highpander, you can see how cocky they're playing. Hildreth is overextending so much, but he's not getting punished for it. UKIP, they really need to get a little bit more aggressive and make sure they're maintaining that ground as we come into this next midpoint.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I think both demos just were really passive this mid, not wanting to lose too much damage to the other. And yeah, once again, there's some exchange. Looks like Polk is opted to go below, giving a little more cover, but at the same time, a little less attack patterns here or paths.
Yeah, Zoob, sorry to interrupt you here, but Zoob and Grungebab went around from Cafe, came from behind, took out the demo, the medic, and I think the heavier, someone else who was standing behind the point. Basically, they just completely flanked them, and I mean, they gave up this midpoint. Sprayer has 100%, and this will probably be another round of Highpander unless they mess it up.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard for them to mess it up because Sprayer is sitting on a 100% Uber. They can just be as aggressive as they want, and once again, Zoop showing what he can do. Just walks in aggressively with the rocket launcher, takes out any opposition on his way. And Fielder is already on his way to the last point here as his team cabs the second. They have 50% Uber. This small advantage actually crumbles here. Joti tried to go for a play and get the stab on the medic. Unfortunately, Polk is, he's on his toes. He knows what's happening. He just turned around in the last save his medic. But it might not be a good idea here to push right now. Yep, looks like they're doing it anyways and going in. The other medic is just going to try to be as safe as possible. He's on 90%. He might be the person to actually save this last point. There's a level 3 sentry as well being spammed and destroyed. It was a good attempt, as I said, but it wasn't well timed as Shep was nearing his 100% Uber, and he could just pop it at any given time and have the advantage.
Yeah, and I think that kind of shows you a sign of pushing in a little bit too aggressively. You want to be aggressive on 5 CP, but they didn't go in knowing all the information. They pushed across the point. Hildreth got dropped from his medic heals because the sentry gun pushed him away. They figured out where the sentry gun is, so then Hildreth is focusing the sentry gun instead of focusing players that he needs to do in a Uber fight, and ends up basically wasting the entire Uber. They got almost no kills. They took down a sentry gun, but UKIP's medic stays alive, Chef, and now they're going to be able to re-push out onto the second point. And just as I say that, here they go. Medic and Demo and Heavy push out onto the second point. Heavy just gets caught at the last second. Polk not able to take him down. Demo's pushing across the point, but Hildreth's trying to catch him out. The soldiers coming in and trying to push back. Hildreth finally does go down to Julius. This is going to be the point that UKIP needs. Spur is alive with 92% and running away. He's not healing anybody currently, but they're going to have this back up and be able to push back pretty shortly here. Once they get the combo classes push back up. But actually, are they giving up mid or are they holding this aggressively? They're holding this aggressively. on the second point. So it'll be interesting to see how UKIP plays this or Sprayer plays this. As I say that, here comes Uber popped off. They're coming through the choke area. Demo Man is going to be caught out here. Kit, yeah, that's Yak going down. And actually now the Medic and Heavy are caught in between a rock and a hard place. And that poke right there taking them down, and the Heavy as well. And there you go. That is exactly what you need. And you got to know your positioning. And there you go. UKIP's going to lose the second point and probably the last.
Yeah, it was a very nice play by Polk and Sprayer here. They had two options: either wait for Hildreth to come out of respawn and, you know, get his ass over here and just kind of help with the Vanguard, or just walk in and do all the work themselves, and that's what they did, and really caught UKIP off guard because they were kind of waiting for the demo to come in first, and there goes a spy. Joti managed to get a stab on Polk and kind of a couple of shits on the medic, but there's a nice close range headshot from Problem saving his team. UKIP is losing players here, and there's still Zabasite on the point, kind of poking it out. Looks like he's gonna get capped, and there you go, 3-0 so far on CP Sunshine for Highpander.
Yeah, Highpander, they're looking really great here, using that aggressive playstyle. I mean, UKIP, I talked about this in the first mid. They did the exact same thing on the last mid, which is they got grouped up behind the point. What I want to see out of UKIP, I want to see them choose a side and push it. Whatever side, just push to one side of the midpoint. That's usually how you want to take your fights. You don't want to just stand at your choke. Here we go again. Demo actually goes down right away to Formello. No Demo Man on this mid here. Soldiers bombing over the top, trying to get the medic, trying to get Sprayer, gets one rocket onto him, trying to get the second one, not able to land it, as actually Sprayer did not go down. They're down to 13 HP and is on fire. But just as I say that, I look back at the scoreboard, only one alive for UKIP. They got absolutely demolished here. Sprayer able to keep it alive with an inch of his life on a quick fix now, as Yak is just respawning.
Yeah, that was actually kind of unfortunate, but because UKIP decided, okay, we do everything to get the enemy medic down, everything in our power, and they just like put so much work into getting the medic. They actually they forgot about the middle point, and you know, everyone died for UKIP, and Spray actually managed to stay alive by the skin of his teeth, and actually pops up the quick fix. But you know, quick fix nature is you just pop it, and in 20 seconds you get another quick fix Uber, so it's not gonna really it's not going to be a really big problem for him here. Oh, wow, condawg gets handed here by Zabasite and Hildreth, just using that as shortstop. There's a lot of explosions coming out. Little corner on the left. Gets one Ubersaw actually off of the Scout Sprayer with a 75% quick fix. They're trying to push aggressively on the last point, and UKIP looks like only have 2 players up and will not be able to hold this point for much longer, it seems. 4-0 for Highpander.
Now, does that take us into half here, or do we continue? How does the configure work on this? I'm not super familiar with ETF2L rules from 5CP.
It's still going to be, I think, one more round, and whoever takes this map gets 3 points, and whoever takes the second map, which is going to be a new version of Viaduct, is going to take 3 points.
Right, I forgot that we're only playing halves here. We're playing 2 different maps. That makes complete sense. So here we come in. Hildreth doing a little bit, getting a little bit cheeky here with the caber flying across the point, goes down for his trouble. Spray actually goes down Julius, and that's no medic on the Highpander side. And this might be exactly what UKIP to finally take a round. A nice another snipe taking out Ninjunin, can't even say the name, the engineer on Highpander, as they are capturing this point slowly but surely, or capture the point, UKIP. That's the objective. There you finally go, as they are getting ready to push onto the second point with their medic, 100% charge, ready to go. They actually switched over to Kritzkrieg here, as Grenchebob's in a great spot right now. And nobody, look at how they're standing still on the point. Medic doesn't see it, and finally he does go down. Turn your back around, Grenche. Oh my god, like, they're standing completely still looking forward. And down goes the medic, and Sprayer's going to be able to push out of here. They're going to attempt to push out of here onto the second point, as it's still, the midpoint has not been capped. It has finally been capped.
Oh man, it took him way too long to actually cap this point, as some of their reinforcements would have had a shorter way to come to the midpoint. Now they have to walk all the way back from spawn. Just considerably going to slow them down on this defense here, as Highpander players are already walking in. Problem getting Yak, which is a very important pick here. No Devilman on midpoint equals low damage output. And there you go, Spray is 100% Uber as far as I know. It's quick fix, actually popping it just to be sure that Aine does not take him down here. Walking forward, that's what the UKIP should have done in the first place. Walk forward, ensure that, you know, the team is safe on the middle point, and just leave one scout on it and just go to town with this.
Grenchebob currently is on a 3K streak, including the medic, sniper, and pyro, using just his pistol. This is happening kind of like just way out on the flank. And Grungeobob alone, I mean, he's kind of the MVP of the town, getting the stab on the medic, pistoling the sniper, now pistoling the pyro before going down. As Highpander is jumping way across the point, trying to catch Jack out, but it ends up being Hildreth is the one who's caught out. As they will be able to capture the second point here, trying to take the 5th round, putting this into the next map with 12 minutes left on the clock here.
Yeah, it's not looking too bright for UKIP right now. They might be looking at getting 3 points off of Highpander on Viaduct, but you know, it's really hard for them as Highpander, as you know, as they did in this season. They're still a very strong team, very solid team, and they'll do everything they can to get back onto the top and play in playoffs this season. But yeah, Sprayton's 100% quick fix. He's just waiting with it because there's no actually rush here. And Shep is still on that crit streak, so you know, in the exchange crit streak versus quick fix, obviously crit streak wins. Because no amount of hyper healing is gonna save you from one crit sticky that deals 300 damage. Oh, there's a nice stab on condawg by Grungeobob. He's still getting huge here, getting all those picks that Highpander just needs. They need that to actually keep rolling, being that aggressive. But they opt to just kind of be safe here. They know there's crit sticky coming out. And yeah, there's some crit stickies coming out here. Hildreth actually managed to pop off Yak. So no Demo Man and no Vanguard coming out of with the crit streak for UKIP. Leaving Sprayton with 100% quick fix and basically a freedom to pop it whenever he feels like.
Yeah, it looks like Highpander, actually Yozer went down. Actually, Scout here in on the medic actually gets the nice 2-shot. Spur does pop it off in time to not get a drop technically, but he does go down, so that's no medic. And you can see UKIP here pushing out right away. They need to get aggressive. They need to do something. They need to do a little bit of a change of pace here as they're trying to get aggressive. Zoo goes down, as well as it looks like the Scout for Highpander. And where are they right now? They need to get out onto the second point. I'm trying to find the combo, and that's why I can't find them, is because they're sitting back. They're underneath. They're finally pushing on to the second point here. Medic just is about at crit streak here. Polk does go down to a stab from Joe T, but it's just a heavy and Medic alone on this point, and they're going to realize what a bad situation they're in, and they're going to back out, back to last. And what a strange, like, I think that just kind of shows you the miscoordination out of UKIP. You know, it's like, right there, that should have been a play that you make. The Medic goes down, you instantly push out from your final point, you try to do something, and they didn't really do anything because they just weren't coordinated in their pushing. As they say that, here comes a crit streak off onto the second point. Zoop comes in over the top, takes down Shep. Now 1v1 against Zach. He's getting one rocket onto him, gets a second rocket, and he's still alive, still doing damage, but he finally does go down to the Pyro, and that's no Medic, no Demo, and only 4 alive for UKIP. Make that 3 alive here, as we should see Highpander pushing freely into this last fight.
Yeah, not many people actually defend last point here, and Sreya is about to reach his Uber gun as far as I know. Yep, he switched over to the Uber gun, just making sure that he stays alive as long with his team. Just pop defensively anyways, just to do it, because the point's gonna get capped, and Yak is not going to be able to hold this, although Aime just shaving off those, you know, seconds off of the timer, but it's not gonna be enough, and looks like, yeah, Highpander's just gonna take this map 5-0, and we're gonna go to a CV, actually, COF Viaduct. Yeah, actually, you know, nothing really surprising happened here. You know, as much as I respect UKIP and formerly known as Loads of Money for sticking around so long and keep playing despite their misfortunes, you know, they're not going to be able to take on Highpander that, you know, with that performance. Highpander is just such an established team. They've played together for so long. Like, they even need to think about coordination because it's just embroidered in their blood. Like, it's just, they just know what's going on, whereas, you know, Loads of Money have been switching players all the time, and it's just kind of hard to learn the synergy over the course of one season. You know, it usually takes a couple of seasons to get each other, you know each other, get to know, like, the habits and how people play, and then kind of implementing that into the strategy they employ. But that's not what happened here. They were a little bit too scattered for such a wide map that, you know, Sunshine is, and basically that resulted in their loss. Unfortunate, but we still have one map before us, and, you know, it could be anyone's map here. 3 points are up for grabs.
Yeah, and looking at the stats, the logs right now here, one thing that really stands out to me, you know, currently, so the top 2 fraggers of the last game were the 2 snipers. So got Formello and Jules? Something like that. Jules? I don't know why I'm trying to get fancy there. He's not Spanish. Anyways, but Jules, he's going to make fun of me for that later. But yes, but Grenjab actually right behind them. So it was sniper, spy, and seeing a spy at a high level top fragging. I mean, I don't know how common it is in Europe, but it's incredibly uncommon in North America for that to happen. The only time that happens is if you're playing against Hildreth, because Hildreth doesn't turn around. And that's kind of what I feel like this game is like. Grenjabop actually has the most med picks currently sitting at 6. 6 med picks as a spy. Like, okay, you get a couple, stuff happens. You have 6 med picks. You need to, as a team, as a medic, figure out what the heck is going wrong. Because the thing that kind of surprised me this last game is that UKIP's not a bad team. Like, I was kind of coming in to expect like to see a roll happen, and you can kind of see like when one team is just drastically worse than the other. And UKIP is definitely not drastically worse than Highpander. It's just that their coordination isn't quite up to snuff, and their spy checking is awful. Like, I mean, that really seemed to be the big difference. It's just like their ability to push out of situations is bad, and their ability to spy check is terrible. But besides that, they seem to be mostly holding their own ground. You know, if they just were able to hold ground a little bit better, actually, I should say that is that they really should be doing a better job at that as well. But it'll be interesting to see Viaduct. I think that's going to go the same way that the last Sunshine map went, and I think the thing that we'll see with UKIP struggling with is when they're not holding the point and when Highpander's holding aggressively. It'll be really interesting, but I think you'll see UKIP struggling to push out, you know, in bad situations. And I think that really defines how good a team is when they're down, when they're at an uber disadvantage on Viaduct, and how can they get out of a bad situation to turn it into their favor. And I'm not sure UKIP's that. But it'll be interesting either way, because Viaduct definitely is a map, and the reason I love it so much is because it's a map that can really go any way, and things can turn in a moment if you can play it correctly. I don't know, how do you feel about this map coming into it after seeing Sunshine?
I mean, this map has been being played for such a long time, and finally got a few fixes that were really needed. And I think I'm not sure. I think the situation from middle points from Sunshine is gonna repeat itself, as people who could go to the middle point first are not gonna be the ones that get the most impact by just getting the other pick. It's gonna be Sniper who takes out Demo Man right off the bat, and that's gonna be roll from then. It's probably just gonna be like Highpander again taking the first point of this map here as well, because what they do is just once they push the enemy team out, they keep going. They just keep going and pushing them against the wall, pressuring them to just back out as far as possible, and leaving about 1 or 2 people on the point, just, making sure that it's being capped. Once they do that, they just hold their positions, really aggressive positions, and only back out when they are losing a significant amount of health. But that's basically what happened last map and on every single point, and I think it's just going to repeat itself on this map as well. I just wanted to actually touch on the topic of why you should let Grenjabop or Fralbum or Fromello get huge here. And this map is such a spy and sniper friendly map. You just need to watch out for them and not let them get huge. And once you have Fromlo and Grenjabop as your pick classes, then you just need to solidify with, of course, the heavy, which is Polk, the Pyro, Emilio Stevez, and basically Hildreth. Just getting them all together, solidify the teamwork, and basically you have a win on your hands. On the other hand, you have UKIP, who, as I said, have not been playing too much, together at least. But they still have some good talents. I mean, Yak has been a good demo throughout the season. He knows his stuff. He can put out a lot of damage on his own without the need of a medic. Joe T has been around as well for such a long time. He's actually managed to get his name up the ranks quite quickly because of his skill and his timing, similar to Grenjabob's. So, as you said, by no means UKIP is not a bad team. It's just what it boils down to is coordination and communication.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be interesting kind of coming to this map. It looks like we're going to get 9v9 here coming in pretty shortly. Yeah, and actually just kind of looking at the stats here, Hildreth and Yak, virtually 1-for-1, only about 400-point difference on Yak behind Hildreth here. And I think that'll be kind of interesting too, because it's a little bit of a simpler map to see how these demos do. I mean, Yak, as I said, he really impressed me with his rollout skills and stuff like that. But yeah, and also to your other point was that the Sniper and Spy, this is the map where they're going to go big. I mean, Jules definitely showed that he was no pushover last map, and it'll be interesting to see how he kind of comes into this map. The other thing that we'll see a big difference with this map compared to Sunshine, though, is the Engineers. Definitely going to have a little bit more of a stake here, where last game I think they combined for about 11 kills. Hopefully they're going to combine for a little bit more on Viaduct, and they'll get a little bit more action here, and that's kind of something I always find interesting, mostly because I'm an engineer mate. But to see how other engineers play the map. But as I say that, here we go. We got ready up on each side.
Yeah, and let's see which then was going to be actually faster to midpoint. Looks like Hiltruth opted not to get too much heals off his medic. And he's a little bit faster than Yak, but Yak has a lot more health here with the overheal. And ooh, nice couple of pipes on Emilio Estevez, kind of getting the other team down. And Hiltruth is the first death here, as well as Yak, actually. Yak died in retaliation from Highpander. A lot of people actually dying on this point. And it's going to all boil down to who has the better sniper and who has the better combo here. It's pretty much every single Highlander game. And yeah, it looks like condawg and Yozer caught off guard by Paul, who just walks in with his minigun spun up, takes a couple of kills, and point being capped by Highpander, as I predicted, quite quickly as well.
Yeah, that fight was pretty fair fight up until UKIP lost their flank side, and basically, and just to say, here comes a quick fix. Uber jumped in onto the point. Hiltruth and Highpander pop in counter, and here we go. Hiltruth trying to chase down the medic here. Grungy actually coming in and finishing up the Shep kill. Again, Grungy doing work. Folk getting very aggressive here. He's going to get caught out for the trouble as Soldiers in over the top. He gets caught out as well. So Zoob and it looks like Polk, Grungy and Zoob are down. This might be enough for UKIP to push off, though they do have very low health. So it might not be enough as Shep is just rebuilding again here. And is he going to keep on quick fix? No, he switched off to the Kritzkrieg.
Yeah, Kritzkrieg is definitely a ballsy play here. I mean, it's such a high-risk, high-reward weapon. You either do really well with it, or it's completely wasted. And, you know, building against an Ubergun and with a disadvantage is definitely very risky. But take a look at the unit here. He's actually sitting on this little ledge that I usually call Japan, because, you know, you have China in the middle, and on the other side is Japan. And he's just sitting here, you know, kind of quietly, but nothing's going to come through, as UKIP is just really defensive. They want to get their Kritzkrieg up first. And they know they're against Uber, and that Uber is 100% right now. Highpander really aggressive here, and what they're looking for is a pick or enough damage on the medic so he doesn't want to push out anymore, and that's basically how it's going to look like for the next couple of seconds here. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we got the Kritzkrieg ready to go, and here comes off first. Sticky comes across the point, nothing is hit. Uber is counter-popped by Highpander, and here they come across, push across. Folk trying to do some damage down onto the heavy, and actually Joe T takes down Hildreth, so no Demoman here on the fight for Highpander, as they are starting to push across the point. UKIP is. Demoman, yeah, getting some nice pipes onto the Polk there, who is getting pretty low. Finally, he does go down to another pipe. And Emilio tries to push onto the point, but this is finally going to be a retake by UKIP. The first time capturing this, but already 2 minutes off the clock on Viaduct, and it's going to be a hard first round for them to get.
Yeah, but as I said before, like, Kritzkrieg, such a high risk, high reward weapon, and they popped it really early. They knew we were up against a Uber and just took the chance. Caught Highpander combo off guard. They weren't able to do anything, and then Josie just in time to take down Hildreth. Really helped them out a lot, and Shet is once again on 100% Uber, and Sprayer knows that this is the Kritzkrieg and you cannot really play around it, so they're just sitting in this little cliff area, just getting their Uber up, you know, building their filter that's really passive. They have a lot of time on their hands, so they really don't need to rush it. Nice headshot by Jules on Zebasai. That's, you know, really hard to headshot the scout in movement. But there you go. Kritzkrieg's up, Uber as well, and we're gonna see an exchange fairly soon here as Uber is being popped on the Hildreth and shared between Polk. Oh, a lot of people dying here to Hildreth and Polk here as Shep, condawg, and Yozer. Entire combo goes down to this ball of death of Highpander, and points probably gonna get capped fairly soon.
That was an incredibly confusing play out of UKIP right there. They started to push across the point, but like they knew the other team had to have Uber. Like if you ask the spy, I mean they had to have that intel. They exposed themselves so aggressively that yeah, I mean Highpander just pushed in and just decimated them. They have Uber. Like I can go invulnerable for 10 seconds and we're 2 feet away from each other. I really have no idea what UKIP was doing there. I mean it looked like they wanted to use that Kritzkrieg, but again, like you have to know if the other medic has Uber at that point, but either way, Shep now at 40% compared to this 80% now for Sprayer on that Uber charge. 34 seconds left on the clock, and this is going to be an uphill fight, definitely, for UKIP to even have a chance at just capturing the point one more time. And here comes the Pyro jumping in on the medic. He's trying to and one, it finally does get Emilio! Are you kidding me?
Oh,
The
man,
Pyro
this is such
W1 too good.
This is such a different thing to see, because we usually see Sigafoo as this like primary medic for Highpander, always doing great job at, you know, basically in any situation. And then you have Emilio Estevez, who's not known for his pyro plays, and you know, I've seen him on regular pyro gun, on the Phlogistinator, I've seen him on Backburner, and this time he managed actually to get something out of it, which is the medic kill, which they really needed. And you know, it was immediately followed up by Sprayer with his team popping off that Uber just to secure the middle point, and you know, that basically what happened, and first point goes to Highpander.
So here we come in, Hildreth being the first one onto this middle point. Yak falling up pretty quickly here as we're kind of just getting some positioning. Scout getting a little bit aggressive across the point, but backing up fairly quickly. We have Zoob on the top-hand side on the rock, just spamming down onto the combo, who's actually doing a decent amount of damage. Look at the health bars on UKIP, they're so low, and here comes the Pyro, again trying to WM1 onto the medic, and actually did he secure that kill? I believe he did, and only Gandhi, the soldier, is alive here, and wow, UKIP got absolutely decimated there, and again, that W1 Pyro showing how effective it can be when your team's distracted.
I just wanted to say that Sprayer just brilliantly read intentions of Shep and just picked crit streak into quick fix. Brilliant play there, although it didn't really matter as Shep dies once again with that full crit streak ready to pop, and you know, of course, Hildreth being healed. I actually expect that Hildreth just being really aggressive here. They have a lot of time on their hands, and they just pop as they do, just pop it. Condawg trying to get some place here, but there's just too much damage coming onto him. Problem, and Hildreth taking down the heavy. Although Joe T trying to make some plays here, gets down the heavy, and a lot of people actually down for Highpander here, including their medic. And Shep is slowly building his Uber up, as well as they capping the point with the crit streak of their own. So I assume it's going to be crit streak wars fairly soon, which are very interesting to watch, as it's such a 100-0 situation.
Yeah, absolutely here. And it'll be kind of interesting to see how Shep plays it, and UKIP plays it. Because the thing that was kind of interesting is they played a lot, very passively on the last mid-hold, and they're kind of doing it again. They're very much crowded around this, behind this rock, and that's got to be a little bit risky. You want to kind of spread out your people a little bit more than what they are, and here we go. Crit streak comes in, Hildreth getting pretty aggressive, and Shep actually taking a little bit of damage here, but not too much, as Yak is trying to push across the point, trying to find someone, trying to find anybody, but he can't find anybody. But Jules finds someone taking down the scout there, as he's going to back up, and oh, here comes Zoob over the top. Shep doesn't even see it coming, and down he goes. No medic for the defense here, and that's going to ignite the push out of Highpander. Here they come off the cliffside. Scout is behind the medic of Highpander, but he does go down for his troubles. The combo is going to be pushing off across the point here. They are at 76%, but a lot down for UKIP, and are they going to get aggressive? Highpander, that is, and it looks like they finally are going to take some ground.
Oh man, like, it just seems that Highpander has an answer to every single situation. They pick quick fix, we pick crit streak. They pick crit streak, we pick Uber. If they have advantage, we stay behind, build Uber, and just let our soldier do the work, which is the medic kill, which is just brilliant by Zoop. But yeah, Sprayer is on 100% Uber here, whereas Shep is slowly building his crit streak up. He's still staying on the crit streak. They know that it's a risk, but they need that risk in order to win. Spy Gretchabop is actually on the rooftop on the house here. He's dropping on the medic. Oh, he gets actually knocked back into it. That was a good attempt, but actually kind of denied here. Condawg just walking on the point, just kind of serving as a distraction here, as Shep popped his crit streak and didn't really work out that well. Although they managed to get a couple of heroes out of this engagement here, but the main meat of the team, which is Sprayer and Hildreth, actually stayed alive, and the point still belongs to Highpander.
And gotta give a little shout out to my boy Ninjunin, who actually ended up getting an engineer med pick there, so always good on him. And whenever an engineer can get a med pick, always a good thing here, as we see Sprayer with the Uber at a slight advantage, though with the crit streak they are catching up. But here we go, UKIP trying to get aggressive across the point. Heavy trying to do something, but he goes down, and we got a spy down as well, but UKIP still trying to do something. Yak getting pushed back with a rocket launcher, and Hildreth now pushing across the point as UKIP is kind of bunched up together. Yak did go down there for Mello, so no man to push across the point here, as Sprayer is going to have that Uber charge ready to go, and only 55 seconds left on the clock. And again, UKIP, I mean, as I said kind of in the pregame, I felt like they're going to struggle when re-pushing out into difficult situations, and they're kind of proving that to be true. Shep does have 100% crit streak ready to go here, so it'll be interesting to see if they use it. Here we go. Demo is out of the main. They have not popped it yet, but looks like they're going to do. There we go. Finally, one crit stick. He flies across the point, not able to find anybody, but now the Uber is popped off onto Hildreth. Heavy with his Fist of Steel trying to chase down the mech, but he goes down. and Hildreth is going to stay alive through that, and now we're going to need to re-push out of UKIP to try to do anything right now, as Zoob's trying to jump it over, gets a nice shot onto Yak. And what are we going to see here as a Pyro running across the point gets a flare onto the medic, straight down to 6 HP, and gets butter knifed to death. Nice flare there, but UKIP, only 8 seconds left in the clock. They need to run, and they need to run directly onto that point.
And as many people actually don't realize, and it's actually surprising how many don't realize that if you have the middle point, your respawn timer is much longer than the enemy teams. That allows the enemy team to actually get their respawns up after a very ballsy play and get bodies on the point, which is what actually UKIP needs. They actually popped the crit streak out. I think Shep just popped it because he didn't want to have the drop in his logs, as he's kind of low here. But you know, it probably wasn't a good idea here, as Sperry is giving his quick fix up. Actually, that's a quick fix play against the crit streak again. Very ballsy play, but again, with Shep popping his crit streak out, it's not going to be much of a problem here, as just condawg serving as a meat shield, running around, taking some damage and scouting the area. And UKIP have 1 minute to go with 0 on the timer for Highpander. It looks like Highpander just going to get really aggressive on the middle point. A quick fix is being popped as well, which is like a very good idea when you pop on the middle point, as AJ crit streak and a quick fix up on the middle point. You can still cap it when you're being ubered. So that's a very good idea, and a lot of UKIP players are getting killed here, only 3 up. Not gonna be enough to defend the point, and the second point off the map goes to Highpander.
Yeah, and right there, I felt like UKIP, I mean, I feel like their hold when they control the point is way too passive. They're not getting any damage. I mean, they already had like people way across the point before they started taking any damage. UKIP needs to make sure that when they're holding the point, anybody who tries to touch the point should be getting damage for the trouble. Here we got Zoob jumping over the top on this next mid fight, takes down the Scout. Yak goes down to no demo man for UKIP here, as the Polk is trying to get aggressive on the point. Soldier above using his black box to kind of spam him down. Scout does take a rocket trying to get onto him, but Gandhi does finally go down to Hildreth, so no Soldier, and pretty much everybody's down for UKIP here, as Hildreth is bombing way across the point onto the cliff side, doing a little bit of a forward hold.
Yeah, and, you know, again, it's very standard of Highpander. Just get a little bit more aggressive, you know, get some ground, make sure that middle point is being capped by people, and, you know, unattended. And, oh, there's a crit streak with Shep and his friend Yak being caught off guard. Everyone just dies there. And Spray as well, actually, he eats a bullet for his troubles, but it's going to help out his team quite a lot, as, you know, this exchange was slightly in favor of Highpander, as they managed to keep the point safe.
Yeah, and as you kind of were talking about before about the Uber advantage here, anytime the team that does not control the point gets a trade with the other team, that's a good thing. Because you are going to respawn quicker, and you're going to be able to push a little bit quicker than the other team here, as Hildreth is still down. Finally, it looks like UKIP is pushing across the concrete side on the right-hand side. Pyro going through there as well, but they're not really doing anything. They're kind of getting a little bit of ground, but then they're just backing up. They need to do something here, as Shep does have a little bit of an advantage with the... What is he on right now? I'm trying to find it. It is Crit Streak still. Hasn't been working for them yet. I'm kind of surprised it's still on it, but as I say that, Joti with a nice stab onto Sprayer here, so no medic alive for Highpander, as... What a shot by Gandhi. He actually surfed over top Hildreth's head. And here we go. Crit Streak gets popped off, but it's not on anyone. And here comes the Pyro backburner W1 onto the medic, and he does go down with the help of Grenjabob. And there you go. Shep goes down in that trade, and still no point to UKIP here.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing for them, as the timer is ticking down. It's the last half a minute for Highpander on the last point of this map, and 3 minutes only start ticking for UKIP, so they really have a tough nut to crack against Highpander's defense, as Spray is 50% of what appears to be a crit streak again. They opted to just go ballsy here once again. It worked for them before, and it's probably going to work for them again here. And as UKIP is just being really passive and defensive here, it goes Emilio Estevez with the help of a unit, and they actually kill the combo. Condawg is getting killed, as well as Yak and Shep. All of the combo just dies to, like, those two little classes that no one ever pays attention to, and, you know, that's what they get for never paying attention to them.
Oh my god. Yeah, Engineer going absolutely ham there. I think that's like a 3K right there, as we have Sprayer holding on to his 100% crit streak, as they are holding incredibly aggressively. Hildreth almost at their spawn. I think they do want to get a spawn cam in here. And here comes the crit streak out, as Zoob's bombing into the final point, and he kills the medic trying to run back into spawn. He does go down for that, but they actually lose a couple in that exchange. Only 4 alive for UKIP here. as they are not pushing into the spawn area as I thought they would, but only 3 alive, as I said. And Spare at 33% and 30 seconds left in the clock here. And UKIP, I mean, if they just need to do something different. I mean, it's best first to 3, correct, for Koch?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is it. This is the final round for UKIP. Everything on the line for them to even have a chance at doing it. And as they say that, here comes UKIP across the point. Times 4 on it, only 3 alive here. As Sprayer did get out with his life, Duke jumping across the point, but he's going to go down, and only Gunjabob and Sprayer are alive here, so that is going to be pretty important, because Sprayer keeping alive, that's going to keep that Uber charge ready to go. Actually, I'm sorry, that's a Kritzkrieg that he's holding on to, as Hildreth is going to push up the main, but look at this scout. Holding on top there, does get spotted out by Polk. That's a shame, because he's about ready to go here, but UKIP, they need to keep that aggression. They need to keep it up. They're at 2 minutes on the clock. Have to play basically perfectly. And as I say that, Hildreth with a perfect crit sticky across the point. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I actually could hear from where I'm sitting right now, just dreams being shattered with that crit sticky. Like, I could hear those screams of UKIP team just being decimated by that beautiful play, as whole UKIP team just getting wiped out. And it's gonna be very soon for Highpander actually capping this point and getting whole clean 6 points off of UKIP, formerly known as Loads of Money. And Loads of Money, unfortunately for them, are gonna keep their losing streak going. There you go, folks.
GGs are tossed out here. Highpander takes the 6 points today. UKIP didn't look horrible, but they definitely could have played better than what they did. But definitely Highpander showed their class as a team and took all the points, and that's what they need to do. I mean, currently, as we said, they're sitting in 4th place here, so they need to win. They need to win out. They need to do everything they can and hope another team drops for them to get into that top spot. Though 4th place does get them into the playoffs, I believe, but they have to start all the way back there if they do.
Yeah, like I really hope that Loads of Money, UKIP doesn't fall this season, because they've been just on a losing streak, and that happens to the best. You know, not every single team wins everything off the bat, and that's what happens. Like, they really show a lot of potential. They show that they can do actual wonders here, and they actually can make nice and like just nice plays all around. But what they lack is cooperation and, you know, communication, just like working together, and that comes with time. So I really hope they just stick around after the season as well and play in the next season and just work their way up again and take on Highpander maybe in 2 seasons time. And we'll see probably a revenge coming out of them. But that will be it for today, folks. That was Blackout Gaming TV with Sigafoo and Jake on the caster microphones, as well as John, you know, streaming this for all of you, of course. And, you know, there's going to be more coming in the future, so stay tuned and good night.